When blood is left at a scene, it tells a story. So where is it left? Is it left on the wall, on the ceiling, or the floor, in the bathtub? That matters. And you read that spatter like you would words on a page or music notes. It's the same. I'm Cheryl Mack McCollum. Everybody calls me Mac. I'm a crime scene investigator for a Metro Atlanta Police Department, and I'm here to answer questions from your honesty box. So here we go. What does a CSI actually do? Well, we process crime scenes, anything from an entering auto all the way to a homicide. So we get to a scene and we look for evidence and try to connect the dots to prove what happened and who did it.
Why did you want to get into this line of work?
I have been fascinated by crime and criminals since I was 4 years old. Our mom would tell us fantastic stories. And when I was 4, she told us the story of Bonnie and Clyde. And I just became captivated by this couple that loved each other and crisscrossed the United States robbing banks. I didn't know why my parents were poor. I thought we should rob banks. That's how it started. What makes killers do what they do? If I could answer that, we could solve it. I don't know. There's a ton of reasons, and a lot of them are out of my wheelhouse, but meanness is one, drugs and alcohol is one, and when you combine meanness with drugs and alcohol, terrible things are gonna happen. But there's an awful lot of reasons. People get angry, and in the heat of the moment, do something they wish they could take back. Other people are so damaged, they become serial killers. I don't know how or why it happens. Worst bodily fluid to deal with, intestinal fluid, because 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be evidence. Blood and seminal fluid, that's easy, that's great to work with, but that intestinal fluid, it stinks, it's horrible. It could lead you to time of death, but most of the time it's just awful and nasty and in the way.
Never even thought about that one.
That's why I'm here, people. I'm a pro. How difficult is it to keep a crime scene contained? Y'all, that ain't hard at all. You lock that thing down. You grab you 3 or 4 rookies, you shut the street down, you put your tape up, you don't let nobody come near it. That's the easiest thing you can possibly do. Shut it down, lock it down. Simple. What's the most common cause of murder? For me in my department, gunfire, a gunshot wound, no doubt. What do you love about your job? Everything. I love working with people that I consider heroes, these police officers and detectives that run toward danger. You know, they don't know the person. They get a 911 call. They don't know anything about what's going on. Sometimes we just get a call that says, shots fired, and they're going. They're going as fast as they can to help whoever's there. And that person could be a criminal. That person could be a nun. They don't care. They're going to drive just as fast.
And can I just ask, how many different kind of departments and people are involved in understanding a crime scene?
Well, you're going to have the folks that show up first, the road officers that get the call and get there first, then CID, Criminal Investigation Division, the detectives are going to show up, then crime scene's going to show up, then the medical examiner's going to show up. The fire department may also be there, again, depending on what the call was. We may get a call that somebody's unresponsive. We don't know they're already dead. We don't know it was a gunshot wound. So everybody's coming. What's the most horrifying work day you've ever experienced? I would say the Adams Day slaying in Atlanta, where an entire family was murdered, and there was a young child that survived and played dead until they could go for help.
Do cases like that emotionally affect you or get under your skin?
Yes. That kind of case will stay with you, not just through your career, but I will think of that family forever. Because one thing that was so horrible, you know, a lot of people in the media have police scanners. So that came out. And so the media rushed there, and they were respectfully across the street, but they did put the house up and said the whole family has been murdered, and grandma was watching TV when breaking news came in. And so by the time we could find her, she was almost in full cardiac arrest. Which technologies or techniques do you use at work? Everything I can get my hands on. I want drones, I want an MVAT, I want Ancestry, I want a black light, I want everything. I have a mantra, every tool on every case, every time. That's what I think you should do.
How much has technology, I guess, evolved over your career?
Listen, Y'all are gonna laugh, but when I started, we didn't even have pagers. We didn't have cell phones. So the idea that now you can take one drop of blood, put that in a computer, and from phenotyping get a composite of the killer, that's unbelievable. What's the strangest piece of evidence you've ever found? I found some crazy stuff. But I'll tell you one that at the scene, I could not stop thinking about it. It was a double homicide. The female victim was completely nude. She had a small washcloth on her chest. She had multiple stab wounds and was dead right there in the living room. The man, sitting on the sofa, completely dressed. Undershirt, shirt, belt, pants, underwear, socks, boots, the whole bit. He had multiple stab wounds, but he had an extension cord. The male end hanging out of the belt loop went all the way down the inside of his pants with the female end hanging out of the bottom. Well, I kept thinking, what is that extension cord about? This is weird. I've got two people, they dated each other, they knew each other in this apartment that at one time they shared. They're both stabbed to death, but that extension cord, I just kept going back to it because it was so odd. And finally, the captain was like, hey, do you not see two dead people here? And I did, but that extension cord was just so odd. Never did figure out what it was about. It bugs me now. What's the most decomposed body you've ever worked on? I don't work on the bodies. That's the medical examiner only. But the most decomposed body I've ever seen was a body that had been placed in a cooler and chopped into pieces. Can DNA be planted or faked? It can be planted, but it can't be faked. In other words, if you take someone's blood and you try to sling it at a crime scene, the direction's gonna be wrong, the consistency's gonna be wrong, the placement's gonna be wrong. But could you take somebody's sweater that had DNA on it and plant it somewhere? Yes. But again, that's only part of it. Does that person have an alibi? Was that person seen somewhere else? It's not something that's gonna fool us for very long. Do crime scenes ever have bugs? Yes. So the blowfly is gonna show up first. We're gonna have maggots, we're gonna have earwigs, we're gonna have beetles, we're gonna have all kind of bugs. But those bugs are micro detectives. They're not just gonna help us with the time of death particularly. They might help you with all kind of things. They may bring pollen with them. They may bring dirt with them. I have not had a case like this, but I have heard where crime scene investigators have even captured a mosquito that had the perpetrator's DNA because they bit him. So yeah, bugs are awesome. I love them at a crime scene. Do you have a favorite serial killer? I don't have a favorite, but I will tell you the first one that I was ever introduced to was Ted Bundy. And that's when I really got to understand what a serial killer was.
Why do you think that, I guess, society is so obsessed with serial killers and trying to understand them and their motivations?
It'd be the ultimate criminal, right? I mean, somebody that is literally hunting human beings and you don't know which ones, you don't know why, you don't know where they're gonna strike. It's the ultimate game. What is your favorite type of evidence? I love evidence like a fingerprint or a footprint or blood in a place where it don't belong. So I like DNA on the inside of a belt loop. I like a fingerprint under a counter. I like a footprint on the bottom of a trash can. Those are the kind of things that really are fun to me because you kind of figure out, hey, wait, why would that footprint be on the bottom of a trash can? Because he tipped it over and stood up. He stood up to do what? And then you start following more evidence. How does blood spatter analysis work? So if you understand the direction, is it an arterial spurt? That's going to tell you the injury. Is it a pool of blood? So there's a massive wound. Is it small 90-degree drop? So is it a nosebleed? Is it dripping off a knife slowly? Is it high velocity? So you think somebody was hit with a baseball bat. All of these things tell us what happened in that house. And you read that spatter like you would words on a page or music notes. It's the same. Are more cold cases unsolved because of mistakes or a lack of evidence? Most cold cases are not really unsolved. They're unproven. So like right now, Nancy Guthrie is missing, but everybody probably believes she's been murdered or she died during the event. Well, they just can't prove it. They don't have any evidence that that has happened. They don't have a body. They don't have enough blood at the house. They don't have a weapon. So again, it's unproven more than unsolved.
How much do those cases, when they're unproven, how much do they occupy your mind?
Every waking moment. Cases are like songs. It's not that one song isn't any good. It's just one really resonates with you. It touches some chord in your heart. Cases are the same way. So there are some that I think about a lot more than others, for sure. How do you know the difference between suicide and a staged murder? Great question. The evidence sometimes is too perfect when it's staged. The point of entry and the point of exit will tell you something's not right. You don't have to have evidence at both. Usually people have a point of entry and exit that's the same. So if they have two different locations, that's odd. Body placement, weapon placement, what the victim was doing right before. The victimology is going to tell you a lot, and that'll lead you to the suspectology. But again, body placement, weapon placement, the fact there's no defensive wounds, all those sorts of things will tell me.
Is that common?
It's not common. It's pretty rare, actually. And it's so rare that if you see it, you kind of know you're seeing it pretty quick. What skills do you have to be a good investigator? Listen, people don't like this answer when I give it at the police academy when they're rookies, but I'm going to give it. The ability to ask for help. If somebody knows more than you, they have got training and experience that you don't have, ask for help. It's one of the best tools you will ever have in your toolbox. You need to have an open mind. You need to be patient. You need to have deductive reasoning. All of those things. And I think one of the biggest things is just be a bulldog about it. Don't give up. Keep going.
What about you, do you think, has made you such a successful CSI?
A genius. I ask for help. There's somebody that knows something that I don't know, or they have an area of expertise like crime mapping. I'm going to call you. Do you view victims as bodies or people? Both. I have to approach it as a body first because I've got to be able to work. I'm going to get to the victimology, and I may know some of it as I'm working. So for example, if I walk into a home and there's pictures of their children and other loved ones and there's diplomas and different things, I know about them already. I know what's important to them because it's displayed. But I've got to stay focused on what happened to them, therefore who did this to them, so that we can get that person off the street. What's the thing you enjoy most about your job? That it's never the same. Every single day is different. I don't care how many burglaries I respond to, they're all different. And I love that. I never know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to call. I don't know what evidence we're going to find. I don't know if we're going to get a phone call that, somebody's been picked up on a warrant. It's always different, and I love that.
What's the difference between approaching a burglary and a murder?
Nothing. You don't know what you have. So it may come out as a burglary, but then you find somebody dead in the freezer. So you better have worked it perfect from Jump Street. Are the FBI bad guys? They're some of the best. They've got the best training. They got the best tools. I've worked with so many that I could name that are just extraordinary people. But since I'm a local police, yes, they're horrible. They're no good. How long would it take for a body to decompose in a house? The shorter answer is 3 weeks. But there are variables. If it's hot, if the heater is on, if the person had some medical issues, if they're already wounded in some way, if there's animals in the home, it could be much quicker.
Is it true that cats will start to eat their owners?
Yes. Yeah, don't trust your cat. Your dog will sympathize and lay down beside you, but your cat will not. What is the most satisfying moment you've had in a case? We worked on the Boston Strangler case, which is one of the cases as a child that I was just captivated by. Albert DeSalvo was a serial killer in Boston in the 60s where he was contributed to killing 11 women. To go to Boston, to go to every crime scene, to meet the children of the lead detective, to meet with F. Lee Bailey, to meet with the nephew of the last victim, that was really satisfying. And then we came up with the plan that Albert DeSalvo should be exhumed and his DNA should be cross-checked with that of Mary Sullivan. So it was kind of cool. Why and how do you solve cold cases? The way that I do it is a process that I call the last 24 and 361. So I try to take the last 24 hours of that victim's life and do what I call a 361. It's not enough to look full circle at something, go a little bit further. And the example that I normally give people is, as a child, if you ever had a tree house, the first time you climbed up there, your whole neighborhood looked different. You could see all the way to your best friend's house. You could see the local swimming pool. You might even could see your school, but you couldn't just from your backyard. So that tree house gave you a different field of vision. That's what I try to do at a cold case. I go up higher or lower so that I literally have a different view of that scene, and it often leads me to more evidence. Are you desensitized? No. Actually, this job has made me more grateful. I think I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, I'm a better sister, I'm a better friend because of what I've seen. If anything, I'm much more sentimental and can cry more than I did before this job. Could someone completely erase their DNA from a scene? Nope. And if they could, I wouldn't tell you because I'm not going to help a killer. What advice would you give to young people or rookies? Here's what I'm going to tell you. Do not discount luck. Luck is going to be a part of your career. I don't care what you do. When luck happens, embrace that too. Sometimes you're going to be given a gift, and I'll tell you a couple of mine. Well, we're working a crime scene at 2:43 in the morning. This little sports car comes flying up. This little bitty woman jumps out. What do you got? What do you have? How can I help? And she helped us that night more than anybody has ever helped on a scene because she was a lawyer. She was a prosecutor.
And do you have any advice for any, young people looking to follow a similar career path to you?
The best advice I was ever given in my entire life was from Jim Birch, and he was with the GBI. And he said, Cheryl, look, you're young. I want you to go home and take a piece of paper, and on that paper, write down everything you love to do. If it's date and walk, if it's dancing, if it's Motown music, if it's cooking, old movies, whatever it is, and be as honest as you can. We met the next day. He said, you got your list? I said, I do. He said, now I want you to go home and be real honest. It's not just you like date and walk, but how many times a week are y'all romantical together? How many times do you go dancing? How many times do you drink wine for fun? Not because you need it, right? And so I've looked at this list so different, and I thought, man, I spent a lot of time with my sisters. I spent a lot of time with Walt. This is great. We have a dog, Lulu, love her. So everybody and everything made the list that I loved. Then he told me the next day, he said, is your list done? I said, it's done. He said, all right, fold it up, keep it in your wallet, and every 4 to 6 months, look at it. If there is something you love that you have stopped doing, correct it. Correct it immediately. If you and Walt aren't going dancing anymore, or you're not hanging out with your sisters as much, or you don't play with the dog in the field, fix it, because you're starting a road you don't want to get on. I have that list today.
That's beautiful. That's really fantastic advice.
I think that's it. And y'all didn't ask
That's
anything
it?
good.
Oh no!
You didn't ask me nothing.